Okay, let's talk about how to stop procrastinating when you simply cannot find the motivation to do so. So, does this sound familiar to you? Like you have things that you want to get done, but you keep on putting them off, or you tell yourself, I'll just start in 10 minutes and suddenly it's like 3 hours later, or you keep waiting to feel motivated, but that moment obviously never comes. And the longer you avoid it, the worse you just simply feel and the harder it becomes to begin. If that is you, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to talk about how to stop procrastinating even when motivation is nowhere to be found. So, first, you need to understand that you are not lazy, you're not broken. This isn't like a moral failing on your behalf. Procrastination is not a sign that there is anything wrong with you. It's just simply a sign that there's something in that task that feels maybe overwhelming, unclear, or just too emotionally like uncomfortable or loaded for your brain. And so, in other ways, like, in other words, procrastination simply makes sense. Like, of course, I'm going to procrastinate in these instances. Okay, because procrastination isn't always like a behavioral problem. It is really, really, really is a mindset issue. And sometimes we get stuck in this like thought, feeling, behavior loop. I'm going to show you exactly how to get out of it. And so here's what you need to understand, okay? With psychology, whenever you are experiencing any task that you have to do, it's going to trigger a thought in us. Usually it's very automatic and unhelpful. Like, well, this is too hard. What if I mess this up? Or I don't have the time to do this properly. And whenever you think a thought like that, a negative thought, it's going to create a feeling in you. Usually it's overwhelm or dread or anxiety or self doubt or pressure. Like, and we don't like those feelings. Okay, those negative feelings are going to make your brain choose avoidance instead. Of course, like if something feels overwhelming or causes us to experience anxiety or doubt or pressure, we don't want to do it. Okay, and when you avoid, like when you experience avoidance, when you take action, you actively avoid it, it reduces that discomfort in the moment. And so it's like you get rewarded, okay? You're rewarded by avoiding something that feels very uncomfortable and that just causes this loop. And that's why you can't motivate yourself out of procrastination, okay? You've got to change the way you are thinking about the task at hand because that thought that you were thinking is actually the thing that is driving your procrastination. And here's the truth that most people just don't even like ever realize. Procrastination isn't you like avoiding the task itself. It's you avoiding, okay, the emotions that you're going to feel once you experience that task. And so when you shift the meaning that you give that task, that is when you shift your behavior. So stick with me because the next part is going to be where things finally stick. So when you understand it's not the task itself that you have the issue with, it's the feeling, okay, that you think the task will create. That's what you want to avoid. Okay, this is what most people never realize. Okay, it's the emotion the task is bringing up. Like, I'm scared I'm going to do it wrong, or I'm scared, I'm going to be feel stupid or confused, or I'm worried it's not going to be good enough, or I'm overwhelmed by where I should even begin. Okay, your brain isn't just like resisting the doing; it's resisting the discomfort that it's going to predict that you're going to feel when you do it. Is this making sense to you? Because when you understand this, the whole thing becomes like less personal, which makes it so much easier for you to move forward. The next little insight that I want to share with you is that motivation isn't whatever starts action. You're sitting there waiting to feel motivated, you've got to get over that. Action is the thing that creates motivation instead. Most people wait to like, oh, until I feel like it. But motivation is never, ever, ever a prerequisite, okay, to doing anything. It's the byproduct. We feel good after we have taken the action. It shows up after you've taken that first tiny step, not before if you're waiting for it. I want you to think of it like motivation. It's almost like warm water coming out of a tap. You don't wait until it's warm to turn the tap on. Okay, you turn it on, okay, and then the warm water arrives. You've got to do something first. And oftentimes it's cold first and it becomes warm later if it's anything like my taps. So action first. Anything that you're waiting for, motivation will come later. Okay, this removes so much pressure when you understand it because if you're waiting for the feeling, okay, of motivation, like to come, okay, I want you to understand that it's never meant to lead. The next thing you need to understand about procrastination is that thoughts are going to create unnecessary pressure if you're focused on thoughts that are making you feel overwhelmed. And pressure is just going to lead to avoidance on your behalf. So if you are attaching thoughts to your tasks like, well, I should have already been done. Okay, I should have started like weeks ago. It has to be perfect, or this is going to require so much time from me. These thoughts aren't actually helping you in any way do the task. If anything, they're helping you run away from them. So, procrastination is not a time problem, my friend. It's a thought problem. Okay? This is so, so true. So, just to offer you some gentle thought shifts that are going to make action feel more doable again for you in the moment, is instead of saying, well, I need motivation to begin, Just say to yourself, I only need to start for 2 minutes. That's all I need. Or instead of telling yourself, like, it's got to be perfect, just try, done is better than holding myself hostage and doing nothing. Do something rather than doing nothing. Okay, it's always going to be better. And instead of telling yourself, well, this is too much, I can't do this, just try telling yourself, small steps still count. Imagine holding on to those words, small steps still count. And instead of telling yourself this story, well, I'm so behind, just try, this moment is still a fresh start. I can just begin right now. Instead of telling yourself, well, I can't do this, give yourself permission to do it imperfectly. Okay? And here's the one that I feel like changes everything is reminding yourself that you don't have to ever feel ready to begin. You just take action. And the simplest way to break procrastination starting today, even if you have zero motivation, okay, because we're not waiting for motivation anymore, it's just that little 2-minute rule. You pick the tiniest little piece of a task, opening up the laptop lid, putting your sneakers by the front door, okay, the smallest possible starting point. Something so small that your brain can't even object. It's like, oh, opening the document, writing a sentence, putting on your workout clothes, washing 2 dishes, replying to an email, reading just one paragraph. Do it for 2 minutes only. And you can stop if you want to, okay? We're not pressuring ourselves to do any more. And why this works is that 2 minutes is so small, like it's too small to trigger overwhelm. And it bypasses that, well, I don't feel like it. Well, it's only 2 minutes, okay? And it creates forward momentum. And so when your brain is shifting to that doing mode, like it does, like you've already started, okay, the hardest part is just getting started. And motivation is always going to show up after the action, not before, remember? Because the goal is not to finish, the goal is just simply to begin. Do something so tiny. And so every time you catch yourself this week, avoiding a task, just say, all I need to do is 2 minutes. That's it, like nothing more. And set a timer. 2 minutes is small enough that your brain will not rebel. And often you're going to naturally keep on going because the hardest part is just like you getting started. Okay, but we don't have to keep on going. There's no pressure. There's no perfection. There's not presence. Just presence. You being in that moment and doing something. Okay, it's all about becoming someone who starts, even when you don't feel ready. And you do that by just becoming someone who starts, even if you don't feel ready. And you can just remind yourself quietly, very kindly, that you're choosing the kind of person that you want to become. And that's someone who just starts. And I really think that your future self is going to be so proud of you, those little tiny steps that you're taking today. Okay, not because they're so big, but because it's honest and doable for the life that you have right now. And it's all about planting seeds that will later, sprout to fruition. Okay, the future results are created by the things that you do today. And if you want more support around procrastination, overthinking, or getting unstuck, I've linked my free mindset guide in the description below. It's all about 5 thought sheets that will help you get out of your own way. No pressure, my friend, just a free resource if you want deeper help. But in a nutshell, you're not procrastinating because you are weird or broken or lazy. You're procrastinating because the way you think about the task is making it feel heavier than it needs to be. So when you shift the meaning that you give in the task, you shift the feeling, which shifts your behavior in the end. Okay, it's that little cycle. Okay, but you've got this one tiny step at a time. Change the way that you think about the action, make it so doable, okay, that it is inevitable that you take action. Take care, and I will catch you in the next video.